A simple way of understanding this 18th Amendment is to compare this Sri Lankan Amendment with the situation in the United States. A President of United States is appointed for 4 years and he is entitled to remain in power only for 2 terms. There is an absolute limit of 2 terms. Suppose this limit is removed and a US President could contest election and remain in power for indefinite period of time. What difference would it make to the entire system of governance of the United States? To understand that, we must go behind the principle of this absolute limitation. The principle is that a person who is vested with extraordinary powers should be subjected to limitations. The principle behind that is that no human being is worthy of trust absolutely. No one will be trusted with power absolutely. Trusting of power must be accompanied with putting limitations to that power. And the limitation of 2 terms was made on that basis. Behind this is the whole notion of binding of power. Power should be bound, otherwise power can destroy whatever that is supposed to protect. A nation can be destroyed by a political power of one person. The idea of checks and balances within the presidential system is connected with putting limitations to the term of presidency. If in the United States the president can stay in power for indefinite periods of time, that will affect every institution within the United States. President is only one of the components of the state power. There are so many components that has to function independently if the state is to function for the purposes for which it has to function. To provide security for the people, in order to do the functions of governance in a way that a society can be managed for the benefit of the society itself. When one head of the state has possibility of staying indefinitely in power, he will necessarily interfere with all the other units. The Department of the Attorney General, the courts, the police, the public service, and all other independent components of power, and all components that deliver services which require independent functioning will be interfered with when one person has unlimited power. If the United States President can be elected indefinitely, that will turn the entire system upside down. A system cannot function anymore. The ruling individual will become the nation and the nation will be subordinate to this ruling individual rather than this ruling individual serving the nation. This is the whole conception of power that is at stake. 18th Amendment is challenging one of the most sacredly held notions that are developed by civilization. That power must be bound, the power must be limited, and that is the way to preserve the sovereignty of the people, the independence of the nation, and that power of the individual will not become a destructive force. The discussion on the 17th Amendment together with this at this stage is simply irrelevant. If there is a president who is able to stay in power independently, whether there will be a 17th Amendment or similar amendment is simply irrelevant. It will be dealt with the president the same way it was dealt with in the past. The issue at the moment is not so much on the issue of the 17th Amendment issue, but on the issue of time limits to the power of the president. If this principle is taken away, Sri Lanka will be pushed into those nations where all principles have been abandoned. In 1978, one of the constitutional experts declared Sri Lanka going in the same path as the Central Africa, where Bogasu introduced a type of constitution with this kind of absolute power. Today, it has gone even a further step downwards. We cannot remain as a politically civilized nation if this limit on the presidential power is not imposed. This is not about an individual. This is about a nation.